Hi, this video is an introduction to the snare drum. Let's get started. First of all, let's talk about sticks for your snare drum, okay? So first of all, I only have one stick today because I lost the other stick. So next video, I'll have two, but for today, I'm just gonna be having one. But you need to have two. You wanna make sure that your stick is thin, right? It's not like a stick or a pencil thin. It's more like thin for a drumstick. Because the thicker they are, the heavier they are to play, which makes it harder for you. So right here you see the number 5 and then the letter A. That's pretty much a standard thinness or a standard size for drumsticks for elementary school, okay? So make sure the drumsticks you have are a little bit thinner, they're not too heavy, and you can play really well with them. Next thing we're going to talk about is where to put your hand on the drumstick. First of all, there is a really fancy way to play with your drumsticks, and then there's a traditional way, all right? And we're going to be learning how to do it the traditional way, and it makes it easier for you as an elementary schooler to play. So first of all, you have your stick. You want to make sure that you go up about this far on the stick, and that's where you're going to put your hand. Now, when you put your hand on both sticks, you're going to make it look like this, okay? Kind of like you're holding like a hot dog if you're getting ready to eat it, or you're holding a wand if you're Harry Potter, right? So you want to make sure that you hold your drumstick like this. And both hands would kind of be just like this. So you see how my elbows are a little bit pointed, they're a little bit squared, I guess you would say. That's how you would set up. So the posture for it is this. Second, your drum. When you're setting up your drum, you want to make sure that the top of your snare drum, like right here, goes to your belly button or a little bit under your belly button, because if it goes all the way up to your chest or all the way up to the middle of you or all the way up to your head, it's going to be really hard for you to play it, okay? So make sure that it's either at your belly button or it's a little bit under your belly button, okay? And if you need help setting up your snare drum, all right, you can either ask a family member or a friend who has played snare drum before, or you can send me a message and I'll send you a video on how to set up your snare drum, okay? So we know how to hold our stick. We know where the snare drum goes. And now we're going to talk a little bit about the snare itself, okay? So it's called the snare drum because one, it's a drum, but also it has these little things inside. Actually, I'm going to show you real quick. It's under the drum. These little things right here are called snares, and that's what makes it sound like a snare drum, okay? So without taking off your drum, I want you to find the snares below, okay? So don't take it off like I just did, but I want you to find them and feel them so that you know where they are and what they feel like. Next, on your snare drum, there should be a little lever just like this, okay? Something that you push and pull. So I'm gonna pull mine up and I'm gonna hit the drum. Do you hear that? So that is with my snare on, okay? So when you pull the lever up towards you, that turns the snare on, and that's what makes it sound like a snare drum. When you push it away from you and put it down, it turns off the snare, okay? Do you hear the difference? I want you to quick pause the video, and I want you to pull the snare lever up. I want you to play your drum. I want you to push it down and play your drum. And I want you to hear the difference of what those two sounds like, okay? So again, this is me pulling up my lever. This is me pulling down my lever. Do you hear the difference? All right, pause the video and come back when you are comfortable and you know what the two sound like. All right, welcome back. So, we know what the snare sounds like when it's on and what it sounds like when it's off. We know where to put our snare drum, like right below or right next to our belly button. We know how to hold the stick. Now I'm going to teach you how to hit the drum, okay? Because we don't just want to hit it like that, right? And we want to make sure that we're being very careful that we're not, being too loud. If you have a baby in the house, a baby brother or baby sister in the house, if your parents are sleeping or they're trying to do some work, you want to make sure that you're not being too loud, okay? So I'm going to teach you how to hit the snare drum. First of all, when you hold your snare stick, remember it's like this, and you hold it like this. You're going to hit and bounce. You're going to hit and bounce. So do that with me. Ready? Go. Bounce, 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 bounce. One more time. Bounce, 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 bounce. Because if we didn't bounce, it would look like this, right? And that's loud, okay? And it ends the sound too abruptly. That means it ends the sound too quickly. So we want to make sure we bounce so that the sound kind of comes up and pulls up with us. All right, make sure that your snare is on. So you pull that lever up and let's bounce. We're going to do it 4 times. Ready? Go. Bounce, 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 bounce. Awesome sauce. All right, so that is how you hit the drum. You want to make sure that you're hitting in the middle of the drum, okay? So not too far next to the rim, which is on, the outside of the drum. And again, you want to make sure that you're in the middle, okay? So right in the middle of that circle is where you're hitting, because that's what makes the best sound. So let's do it again real quick. Make sure you're in the middle, make sure you're bouncing, and make sure you're holding your stick correctly. 1, 2, ready, go. Bounce, 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 bounce. Awesome job. All right, so that is the introduction to the snare drum. Next exercise, we are going to actually get to play with the music in your Essential Elements book. So make sure you have that book. Make sure you have 2 snare sticks. I don't today. I'll have some tomorrow. And I'll see you then. Bye.